Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome back again to Endzone 2. You joined us back in Riverview where we've got a little bit more to do here. So we last episode built a scrapyard, a woodcutting lodge and a recycling centre. I've also added in an upgraded decontaminator and a graveyard here because people were a little bit unhappy with how things were going. So we're going to have a look at what we can do now to further boost this settlement. Looking at our scrapyard, we obviously need a recycling centre or a recycler within range so that we can turn the scrap that we are producing into recycled plastics, which we're going to need. I'm just going to tidy this little road up a little bit as well and bring that all into uniformity. Then over where the scrapyard is, we've got stuff we know going there, and we are also going to add in something else. So what we need to put in is some trades and crafts. We're going to go with an upgraded workshop here, which we're going to place right there next to wood and scrap, which is very useful. We then want to have a look at what we can do in terms of our charcoal. So we're going to need a new charcoal kiln, which is going to go in right there. That now kind of gives us the ability to produce things and get upgraded workshops going there. Then we want a tailor's workshop. So really, we can't do anything tailoring based here because there's a lack of production here from fertile ground. So it's probably not going to be useful for us to have one of those in anyway. We also consequentially can't have the vulcanizer in anyway. So any sort of tailoring stuff we're going to have to say no to. The reason I've got the upgraded charcoal kiln is so we can have coal produced here to decontaminate stuff in our water tower. And they actually need a source of wood. They're right next to the lumberjack, so that actually works out really good for us. In terms of industry, there's nothing we can do here, but we are going to add in an upgraded material depot right on the corner there so that we've got space to store the stuff that's in there. And I think that just about covers everything in this location. We do have the fish farm there, which is great. That gives us a lot of food. We don't have anyone working in the recycler, so I'm going to put one person to work in that. Decontamination is sorted. That's covering the whole settlement. And if we just have a quick look at our decontamination kits, we've got one left, so it's not enough to really kind of do anything here. But you can see the area is pretty well cleaned. And the same over here in Newtown, where there's a constant short supply coming through of decontamination kits. Over here in Crimson Canyon, everything's been kind of cleansed there, which is great, and in Medici it's exactly the same thing. Then over in the Iron Wall, they are having a nice little resurgence there. It's been pushed back, so this is all really good stuff. The vulcanizer is also up and running at the Iron Wall, but we do need to kind of make sure that that's running a little bit more efficiently, so we're probably going to need to boost the population even further. Now, like I said last episode, what we want to do is we want to get this to a point where we're able to produce medicine here, and that's going to involve setting up a trade route to bring herbs to the Iron Wall and then send stuff back out. But rubber is the thing that we really need to produce more of. Now, I already have 2 shelters here, so why not get a third? I think a third one can go on this side here, and that's going to be really useful. That's again going to boost our population, so again we need to be careful with our food. Luckily we have farms here, and as long as there's a nice supply of water, they're going to churn out quite a substantial amount. Now if we have depots in the vicinity here, that will get a boost to the efficiency as well. So we'll put an upgraded food depot just on the corner here, so that once that's done, that'll be like a 10% boost to the food production in that location. We're also going to need farmers and stuff, so the school that we currently have is churning out experts in, I think, industry, and that's really important. We need the engineer, we need economy, we need industry, so I don't think it's going to be wise for us to get anything more from that. But paper is something that I can produce over here in Riverview. So if we can get a trade going in our zone 2 for some of those more luxury goods, that's going to be very, very good for us. So looking at what we need for our paper mill again then, if I just move along, I think it's in raw materials actually. No, doesn't look like it. It should be in trades and crafts. We've got rubber from the vulcanizer. We've got a few other things here, but nothing in terms of... Ah, wait, it's community buildings. There we go, the paper mill. Now the paper mill does need to be on the shoreline, on the coast. So we can put it there. It's next to reed production. There is a depot nearby, and that is going to be really good. So we'll get that set up now, and they're going to start producing paper, which we can then transfer again as part of a larger trade route to some of our other settlements as well. So we're going to start producing in that charcoal kiln there. We need some bricks here and bricks there as well. Luckily, I have a buggy somewhere, I think right next to the settlement. Actually, no, that's vanished somewhere else. We've got, there it is, one buggy there. And this buggy's actually been grabbing stuff from a recent raider encounter that we had, and I think everything else is cleared. So let's head over to here. There we go. We had a few boys here waiting. So we'll grab some bricks again. Do they have bricks? They've only got 24 units of bricks, but that's going to be enough. So we can bring these 2 buggies. We'll send over to Riverview to drop those off, and then we can finish off building those last few buildings there. Yeah, let's go with 5 working in the paper mill, although we'll drop down to 2. The paper production here doesn't need to be substantial, although if we do add more people working in the swamp farm, our paper mill should be able to cope with the increased demand there. Yep, we're able to produce paper at a good rate, and that comes in quite nicely. Then our buggies have arrived, so we can drop off. I think that's actually part of a trade route, isn't it? Yeah, right, you get back on. You have that, you have that. You're going to drop off those bricks there, and then we can build these 2 buildings. Excellent. Right, so Riverview is now pretty solid. That's pleasing. Then we can head back over. We're going to bring these 2 buggies back into the safety of the convoy, just in case we get attacked. And then over here, we have more people who can go to work in the vulcanizer. We'll push that all the way up, and you can see our natural latex does drop a little bit. So looking at our plantations here, let's produce some more natural latex and coal. So if we look at our upgraded charcoal kiln, we get more people working in that. That does change the amount of lumber that we're able to produce, because we're going to start running out of that, but we do have an upgraded lumberjack lodge, so we can go to that. Wood is now at an income, and the vulcanizer, you will see latex and coal both being produced well. So that's very, very useful. Now, Lizzie Rasmus is on her way somewhere. It's just the one vehicle, though. I think she'll probably just run straight into our convoy here, who will bring her down very, very quickly. And that should see her gone again. Don't see it. There it is. What is it? Looks like it might have like a heavy cannon or machine gun, but they're going to run straight into us and be wiped out pretty much instantly. Now, let's just bring this vehicle, this Nomad, up to here to loot it and take what's there. Wonderful. Right. Things are looking pretty good. We do have some issues here in the iron wall where we're not producing quite as much as I would like to, but we are getting a lot more iron in, which means our iron is being produced quite well. And then we've got an upgraded workshop here. We could theoretically build yet another upgraded workshop. So that's actually what we're going to do. We'll build an upgraded workshop right here. It's not next to scrap production. In fact, we need to move it quite far along, but then even when we do, it goes out of range of the scrap. That brings us back into range of the wood, but we have to be very careful with this recycler, which is here. I wonder if we can just shift the scrapyard, unless, can we fit this in here? That is in range. Doesn't have a depot nearby, but we'll put a new depot in here. And then we'll just run a small residual road that goes around and links back up there. So this upgraded workshop is going to produce more tools. And if we can get a really nice production chain for iron tools, that'll be really useful. Then we can start supplying iron tools everywhere in the settlement. And having a look again over at our vulcanizer, that's doing well. Then looking at this upgraded tailor's workshop, which is producing rubber gloves. Let's put a few more people into it. We start to run out of cloth. So looking at our upgraded tailor's workshop, that's still producing stuff, but we might need another expanded weaving mill. So we'll build that. And you can see it's just getting that fine balance of all of your buildings. Like we've got water and fiber there. We are in range. We've got a depot in the vicinity. So we get maxed out in terms of our efficiency there. And then it's about bringing power now, really, to the rest of this location. Where you'll see there, our water has just started to drop. But we can actually put somebody to work. Let's get a rain collector as well. That'll always give us a little boost. Nobody needs to work in those. And then another upgraded jetty right next to that. Once we get 10 iron tools, which we should now be producing here at this new upgraded workshop, we just change that mode to iron tools, put a couple of people working in that That sees our iron bar start to drop for the first time, but we are now at an income of iron tools. In fact, even just dropping one more person out, our iron bars stay the same, and our iron tools are going up at a profit now of about 1 per minute. So that problem is solved. We can now build our new jetties, so that'll stop the water from hemorrhaging. And we are in a really, really good position now. So it's probably time, rather than building our next settlement here, maybe we should look at getting into zone 3. I haven't quite decided that yet, but I think that might be where we need to go, because that unlocks even more iodine for us. Because at the moment we only have the restored iodine mine in Medici to keep us operational in terms of getting enough iodine to produce those decontamination kits. And we are currently, you know, we don't have the ability to, I mean, we've got these decontamination labs here, but we are not getting enough iodine in to be able to actually put them at full capacity. This iodine mine is full up, but they don't have enough iron tools because the supply of iron tools keeps running out. So we are in this kind of like vicious circle. Now, the school here is producing botanists, ecologists, and society. So if we have a look at our educational subjects, these society ones, I think if we take society out of there, it's the pharmaceutical laboratory that is impacted by it. It's only the pharmaceutical laboratory that is impacted by it. So it might well be that we could take one out of there. We have the restored iodine mine there. If we put someone in the industry, we'll produce iodine at a better rate. But we kind of need the society one. What about ecology? Botany is the swamp farms. We need that. Ecology is also the swamp farms. We need that. So maybe we ditch this and go with generalist. Now, generalist will increase everything by 10%. That could be what we go for, because we get a little bit less of a boost from the pharmaceutical laboratories, but we're producing a nice amount of medicine anyway. And for that to give us a nice little boost to our iodine, that might be the way to go. So we'll leave that as it is for now. We'll just see how that looks after a short period of time. We've then got this upgraded workshop, which we're now going to put one person to work in, so Riverview can actually start producing some of its own tools, which it will need, and Riverview looking pretty good now. Then we have a load of vehicles here. We've got this buggy, which I'm going to take away a second, and this buggy, which I'm also going to take away because we're going to use them in something a little bit later on. I've got a third buggy here waiting for stuff to drop off, so we're going to just put this to one side as well. These 3 buggies are just going to move over here and kind of be on guard, ready to drop off any resources that we might like desperately need. Then we are going to head back to Newtown, because in Newtown we are going to have a quick look over here where there's another biogas plant. And this biogas plant needs blowtorch, scrap, iron, lockpick, wood, an engineer, and plastic. So we are going to go, we're going to load up. We're going to load up with all of the tools we might need. So we definitely need a blowtorch. We definitely need a lockpick. We're going to grab the generator. We're going to grab the fire axe. Then we are going to make sure that there is an engineer placed in this Pathfinder. So let's have a look at what's in the armament. Nothing yet. What about the Pathfinder itself? We have an engineer. Good. Right, we can move him away. Then we'll go to this nomad here and exchange goods again. We want to take the plank, ladder, and plant encyclopedia. I think that is everything. Yes. So we're also going to exchange goods with this settlement again, because we needed, what do we need? If we have a quick look over here, back to the biogas plant, we need wood, scrap, plastic, and iron. So let's go back to the nomad and make sure we have wood, scrap, plastic, and I don't think we've got any iron. No, it doesn't look like we've got iron there. So let's load up some hemp. Then we'll move our nomad here down to Rusty Rolf, and we'll trade that hemp or plastic. Now, hemp has been a bit of a godsend for us, really. And over in the Iron Wall, we can actually create a new plantation. I think it's a plantation. and we will have this upgraded plantation start to produce hemp, because that has been massive for us in terms of what we can do in like trading and things. Really, really useful. So that's what we'll do. We're going to start producing stuff at this upgraded plantation. We'll make sure our seed is changed to hemp, and we will add in a nice little hemp farm there. The nihilists are on their way again. Again, they will likely run straight into us, and we will be able to take them out pretty quickly. So let's just get 3 people working in that plantation to get some hemp on production, and we have that guard tower there, which is just taking things down so smoothly. The nomad should have arrived there, and we are going to, once again, we'll sell these. We don't want to sell anything else. We just need the iron. So we'll drop off that and bring in a couple of extras. 24 iron. That's good. Then we'll head back over to the rest of the convoy, who will go out and get ready to take to the wasteland to get this biogas plant up and running again. And then that is going to supply power to our settlements. In particular, we want to get power to the iron wall. Now, looking out here, I don't think there's anywhere else that might have a source of power on this side. So unfortunately, the iron wall is a little bit lacking when it comes to that. There's nothing really here. So we would need to either set up power in this location or bring power right the way across from Riverview all the way to our settlement, the iron wall. And that was my plan. So we are going to head up to the biogas plant in this corner of the map, and we are going to get that explored, get that unlocked, and get everything we need from that. Currently then, we've got a little bit of a sit rep. Things looking good here. Low contamination. We do have a drought. We are having to be very careful of that. Crimson Canyon. What's going on here? There's an empty work area for that scrapyard, so it could well be time for us to... Yeah, I can't think they can move any further afield, so maybe we need to build a recycler there to help them out. And then Newtown. Got 5 minutes left on the drought. I think we're going to be okay for that. But we will just keep an eye, just in case. And we are arriving at the biogas plant, where we can start our expedition with the Pathfinder crew. And let's see what we've got. So there's the chimney here. All of this is going to be something that we can rebuild, put back together. And yeah, we need scrap for that. We also need iron and scrap for that. But we can just go around and loot these residual locations, grab the cable drums and stuff, get everything up and running again. We know how this works. We know we need to get the conveyor belts and stuff repaired. We can loot as much as possible. We need wood to repair that conveyor belt. Obviously, these are all in the Nomad, so we'll have to transfer them into the Pathfinder itself. But we can at least clear out the junk first and then do any of the basic repairs using the tools that we've currently got. Thankfully, though, we're able to pick up some things in this location that will be able to aid us. So this pipe can now be repaired with the scrap and blowtorch. Then we can kind of keep heading around here. We've got a gas tank there. There's a pallet there. So let's see if we can repair the gas tank. I think we just need scrap for that. Yeah, we need 60 units of scrap there. Climbing up the ladder, I assume we're going to need plastic for the top of this gas tank. And we do have some plastic now. 40 units of scrap. That's all we needed for that. Right, okay, let's go into here. There's a shelf there. So we'll grab what's on them. Some transformers, which are very useful because difficult to find them. And then we can have a look inside the actual power plant, where we've got a crate, another crate, and a pipe that we can repair. Again, that needs iron. We can lockpick that crate, though, and that gives us some lead and some iron tools. What about here? Again, we need iron there. Iron there, then the control panel, which would bring the whole thing back online. So it looks like limited with what we can do now. So we'll end our expedition. We'll dump everything into the Pathfinder and finish that off. And then we'll just wait for our Nomad to arrive. And once it does arrive, we'll have another gas plant restored. Here they come. So I reckon what we need to do is just bring this Nomad over here, and we'll bring you over to here as well. Then we'll do a little bit of a trade. So we want to grab all of the iron here. So we'll grab the iron, we'll grab the wood, we'll dump them, we'll bring in the scrap, we'll bring in the plastic, bring in a bit more plastic and the scrap, drop the transformers. There we go. Right, I think that is everything we need. Then we'll bring the Pathfinder back and restart the expedition. This should now allow us to repair everything, I think. So the chimney, to begin with, that goes in. And then this chimney here, done. Nice. Then we'll head inside, where we can repair the pipes. Done. And another pipe here. Done. Then into this back room here, where there'll be another pipe for us to repair. Nice and easy. And then coming back round where we can repair that gas tank, and then the gas tank at the top there, and then the conveyor belts as well. And that should be the gas power plant back up and running, which means we will have another major source of power in Zone 2. We can get that then linked up right the way across the wasteland so that we can deliver plenty of other stuff. We're out of scrap, though, for that repair job. What about the conveyor belt? We can repair that with the wood, but we also need scrap as well. So scrap is the thing that I didn't think we'd run out of, but we actually have. So let's end the expedition again. We'll load in whatever we can there. And then I guess we just need to have a look to see if we can find any more scrap. So let's just loot from here. We'll grab that stuff there. And then we'll send our convoy down to this little location here, which is a ruined hospital. Now, let's leave that for now. Let's just see if there's any areas that have places we can loot. And what I want to do is I want the Pathfinder to do all of it, really. That's the mule. Pathfinder, please. Yes. Right, there's some more wood and some plastic. But it doesn't look like we're going to be able to get anything additional from there, so we'll just keep going. Yeah, that's done. And then we'll keep moving through. Coming back to our settlement. We're going to do a big lap of this place. There's some loot that we can pick up there and over there. That, I think, is a scrapyard. A clay pit. So that'll give us a nice supply of clay. And that's in a decent location. So we could actually build bricks. But right now, I don't think this is going to be the best idea. But we'll have a quick look anyway. See if we can get some scrap. There's a lot of stuff here. There's a little bit of scrap there. And some more. We've got cable drums again. Transformer box. Trash container. All we need really is a nice amount of scrap, but right now that's difficult to find. Well, it's not really. I could just go back, but I'm feeling particularly lazy today. We're getting small amounts of scrap left, right, and center. There's a pallet there. We can go straight in and get that done. Then I guess we can climb this ladder to get the crane rope. Don't know what we do with that. I think that needs to be attached with something. Sleeping quarters is just some lore. Then we've got the control panel here. But it looks like we can't do anything there either. So let's clamber down. And we will end the expedition. We'll put everything we've got here and finish that off. So that doesn't really give us much of an advantage. But we'll head back over to the biogas plant. I'll have a look in the Pathfinder and see if it managed to pick up any scrap. I don't think it did. Only the 5 units of scrap there. So maybe the Pathfinder just needs to go. I mean, we can actually just go to Riverview. We'll go to Riverview and we'll pick up some scrap from there. And then we'll get back underway and finish this one off, which is quite exciting. So we'll have a biogas plant up and running. We now have a nice little industrial sector here in Riverview. And the iron wall has a really nice supply of stuff coming in. Should also hopefully be producing some rubber gloves by now. Yeah, 27 lots of rubber gloves, and that'll be kind of substantiated and boosted by the ongoing trade route that is happening between Newtown and the other settlements. So you can see over here at Crimson Canyon, they are now maxed out on rubber gloves and gas masks. So these settlements here, Medici, where there's no production of that sort of stuff, will be safe, essentially. And the iron wall is also going to be safe, which means we can then kind of refocus our attention when it comes to our trade routes and just have a look at what we can do to keep these things ticking over. But first things first, let's finish off this biogas plant reconstruction so that we can have a source of power in Zone 2. If I have a quick look as well at my expeditions, I'll just have a quick look and see if Sector 2 has anything else we can make use of. It doesn't look like it. It's all end zones. We've got 2 end zones there. We've got the clay pit, barn, warehouses, hospitals, the military airfield, which still has a few items there that we can grab. Also got 2 technologies, which we haven't yet found at that site apparently, but I think they have been found and not actually unlocked because we already have them. I think that's the issue there. Right, let's get back into this expedition, finish off these repairs. So there was the gas tank with the ladder. We'll climb up that and repair this. And then we just need to go back and repair that conveyor belt. And I think that would then be complete. Which would be very good. And we do need to turn the thing back on. So that's done. And do we then need to put another bit on? Because I think, yeah, I think we do. So back up there, onto the scaffolding where we attach the plastic. Wonderful. And then coming down into here, repairing that conveyor belt. Done. That takes us to 90%. Oh, it's just the scaffolding again. And then we need to repair this. Done. And finally, I think we just need to switch this thing back on. Nothing to do there. Nothing in this location. The ladder, we've already been there and done that. Then we do just need to go back in here, switch on the power, and things will be working again. Right, here we go. We are back up and running. The biogas plant is done. That's great. So that is now going to start producing power, and it produces rather a lot of power, as we already know. So we'll finish there with our second biogas plant up and running and a nice source of power for Zone 2, which we can start sending to other areas of the zone. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you for the next one. Bye-bye.